Welcome back to the show, and of course, a deep dive into all things. Come on in, the water's lovely at the moment. That's what we are discussing today. From all its different guises today, and none more so than our next guest as well, because Allison is a water sommelier. Allison, thanks so much indeed for joining us.
Thank you so much for having me today.
Listen, I think a lot of us will understand the role of a traditional sommelier. A water sommelier, in terms of those that don't fully understand the role, maybe you can sort of explain it to our viewers. Because a lot of people, critics would turn around and they'll just go, the still or the sparkling.
Yeah, you walk into any restaurant most restaurants and they ask you still or sparkling.
Yeah.
They're not specifying a brand, whereas each brand, each sauce is absolutely unique in what it presents to you in a glass.
Yeah. Okay.
And I believe there's a very small pool of sommeliers around the world who've made a career out of tasting and judging water. So I don't personally understand it very well. So for people like me, can you please explain to us what are the characteristics that you judge water based on?
Okay, so when you do a water tasting, you will generally be able to smell it and there will be no smell. Unless it's very high in minerality, which is your TDS or your total dissolved solids. And that is what gives water its taste. So you're going to taste it, you're going to sip it, you're going to swill it. And again, depending on the minerality as to what you taste. Some waters have a very low minerality and you wouldn't be able to differentiate the taste, but what you're looking for is minerality to replace the minerals lost in your body due to fasting, due to exercise, or due to heat.
I just wondered, with all of the issues surrounding kind of like water scarcity around the world, how do you kind of reconcile talking about artisan waters, in terms of also the environmental impact in terms of packaging and also transportation of these waters around the world?
We have to support the cause of sustainability. I think it's important. I've managed to source 36 or 38 different waters, naturally sourced mineral waters in the UAE. Again, the impact on the environment isn't always preferential. I fully support Dubai's initiative to implement the water fountains that are free water for everybody. Water is a human right, and water is life. Our bodies are more than 70% water. You can survive weeks without food, but you can't survive 3 to 4 days without water. And an interesting fact is if you have a headache, you are already dehydrated.
Did you just say you source 38 waters here in the UAE?
Yes.
38 different
sourced waters, whether it's artesian water, a well water. I know you at the restaurants.
I'm talking about 3.
Yeah, at the restaurants you get all of those. So I'll come and do a water tasting for you next, so that you can experience all the different tastes. Whether it's a spring water, an artesian water, a well water. You even get water from rain in Tasmania, glacier water, and iceberg water.
Okay.
No, I can definitely, traveling from country to country, I definitely notice there's a different taste in the water. Some of them taste a bit more metallic, which I always notice. But I think I was going to kind of touch up on what Roxana was saying. There's 2 billion people around the world without access to clean drinking water, so I'm sure that's a lot of criticism you face. But I do appreciate your response and awareness of that. I think the other question I have is the pricing, because nothing makes my blood boil more than when I go to a restaurant. I'm like, I'd like some local water, please. And they're like, no, but we do have this fancy schmancy, water for 50 dirhams. And I'm like, I don't need to pay 50 dirhams. I'm very happy paying 10. So how do you go about pricing water depending on its taste and so forth?
Generally, those waters you will notice in the restaurants are in glass, which means it's more sustainable. We have 1 or 2 brands in the UAE that are already starting to recycle. So, for example, Monviso, if you order their water, they deliver it to your home. When they collect it, they will recycle those bottles. There are those initiatives starting to come into place to make it more environmentally friendly.
The argument for sparkling versus still, let's go back to where that one was as well. I mean, is there any difference? Is one better for you than the other or not?
There is, again, it's the minerality, and it also depends on what you're eating. So I am a qualified executive chef and I work at the Italian International School in Khalifa City.
Yeah.
I want to do food and water pairings because you won't believe the difference in taste when you are having a natural water to when you're having normal water. They always say have 1 glass of beverage and 1 glass of water. But the difference on your palate, the difference on the roundness of the food and your taste buds. You'll generally have a low minerality water with ceviche, sushi, lighter dishes, whereas you'll have a higher minerality water with a rich oxtail or a lamb shank. And
Then
then
would the average Joe be able to notice this,
Yes,
or
but
just
that's-
someone with a sophisticated?
No, I have a sophisticated palate, but that's what I'm here to help people and to make it fun, to host food and water pairings and tastings and contrasts, to see that rounded feel that that you experience when you drink water with decent food. Even the bubbles, a lot of people don't like a highly carbonated water, so there's some beautiful waters here that are like angels dancing on your tongue. And a carbonated water also takes the sting out when you're eating a hot curry. So next time you have a curry, have some sparkling water and you'll taste the difference.
Ooh, I would not
Okay,
hear
that's
those two.
great advice.
Okay,
Great
thank you
advice.
so much.
Water pairing, very, very interesting indeed. Thank you so much, Allison, for coming on the show and telling us more about this.
My pleasure. Thank you very much.
Right, today's spotlight is on a water brand produced straight from the sky. Using cutting-edge water technology, they're here to tell us about their sustainable business that turns air into water. This is Mahawa.
My name is Amr Ismail. I'm the Director of Marketing for Mahawa brand. And what we do is basically we create water out of air, pure water out of air. What we're trying to address here, it's the global shortage of water resources. And we're not talking about future, we're talking about near future. In a couple of years, the world is coming to a shortage of water resources globally, regionally, and we're trying to be the part of the solution. Meaning, as our company, we have a revolutionary machine, a machine that creates water out of air. Not any water, it's actually a premium drinking water with mineral infused, the essential minerals for a human being. At a milestone, we have actually, as a new startup, we already exist in a lot of government and corporate companies in the UAE, in all over United Arab Emirates. The main challenge is actually, surprisingly, it was the consumer education. Well, the consumer education, actually, we face a lot of people that they are not aware of AWG technology, water from air, which is a very popular source of water. And to educate the consumer and to give them alternative options, we have to do a lot of education for consumer and to convince them why this is good for their health, why this is good for the environment, and why it's actually good for the whole universe, because we are not touching an existing resources, and there is a very reliable, clean, safe source of water at your home. We are trying to fill the gap in a water shortage, and we're trying to help countries that they have shortage of water and educate them and supply them with our machines to use a clean and safe and sustainable source of water inside their home. Dubai, for me, it's a diversified city. It's safe, it's smart, and you have a cutting-edge technology in terms of like reliability, in terms of sustainability, in terms of actually connectivity. So it's definitely good and healthy environment for business.
Hats off to Mahawa. Now it's time for the roundup. Tom, what do you got for us?
I have got for you stats. I'm going to throw stats your way, okay?
Throw some stats my way.
So, WHO, the World Health Organization, no less, are saying that according to their latest statistics, 236,000 people die each year from drowning. And a lot of people think, hang on, it's 2023. How on earth can that number be so high? Well, there is help at hand. Dubai-based company Blueguard Middle East. They have created a drowning detection technology being called the future of water safety. So what do? They leverage technology, they leverage AI softwares, and they create swimwear, but also not just swimwear, a wristband as well. So swimwear wears a wristband, that acts as a sensor, raises the alarm to potential drowning incident as well. It's tech to bring those numbers down. Do we agree?
I don't know about you guys, but they also do homes. It freaks me out. We have a pool at home, and I never wanted to have a pool because I was so worried about our kids. Within the first week of having our pool, the gardener left the gate open, and my son just disappeared for a couple of minutes, and my mom was like, it usually takes him like, he's usually faster on the bike to come around. And we ran over and found him in the water with his eyes just poking out. He was walking down the ramp and he didn't know how to make his way up. At the time, he was like 3 years old. But it scares, I mean, I still think about that moment. What can we do to protect our kids?
Yeah. This is one of the
and they're
main
coming up with
reasons
those
why I don't
solutions.
have a pool in my house, because of this exact same reason. Also because it's very expensive to maintain. Believe it or not, when I was 10 years old, I nearly drowned. I was at a summer camp. I went to school here in Dubai. I was at a summer camp and they took us to this big swimming pool one afternoon. And I convinced this other girl that we should probably jump into the water because swimming looks easy. I think you just need to do this and we'll be fine. So I wanted to jump and I convinced her and we both jumped in. Luckily, somebody told the instructor and they pulled her out first, and all this time I'm still underwater struggling. And till date, I'm extremely uncomfortable and I'm a very nervous swimmer. At the age of 19, I grabbed the courage to go back to swimming classes again because I still have PTSD from having nearly drowned. And honestly, it is one of the scariest things ever. Companies like Blue Guard are doing such a fantastic job.
Yeah,
Roxana, what do you think?
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
Roxana, to that point as well, I mean, two very personal stories there from the team. But can we rely on tech? I mean, no one's going to disagree with it, etc. But, you know, it means having to wear the band the whole time, etc., making sure that it's on, etc. Doesn't it just come back to a better respect for water in all its forms?
I think, I mean, I was actually quite lucky enough to meet with Luke last week at DryTex, where he was actually demonstrating this tech. And I think that it's a tool for lifeguards to use. And it helps to detect people who are in distress, you know, before it leads to an actual drowning, which leads to kind of like, you know, fatality. So I think it's incredibly important, and I do like the way that a lot of hotels, I think Luke is currently in the Maldives, demonstrating and implementing this tech. So I think it's incredibly important because, you know, we all enjoy being in the water as well. Oh, well, not all of us. I mean, I've almost drowned twice in my life. But I think, you know, water is one of those things that, you know, is very therapeutic. Many people enjoy being in the water, and even the best of swimmers can be caught off guard by sudden riptides. So this is something that the tech is also able to monitor. So it's a tool that lifeguards can use to keep everyone safe in the water.
Well, you might have worked it out by now. It is a little bit of a water focus for us today. We are diving into all things H2O in all its glorious forms. So let's just have a little look to see what is coming up.
Well, Amy went to go check out the world's deepest pool, Deep Dive Dubai, and it looks phenomenal.
Plus, Daryl from Freestyle Divers tells us more about their marine conservation project.
Plus, we've got Jay Bellamy performing from a very, very special destination. Stay with us right here on DXB Today.